All right, everybody, I'm Logan Allec. I'm a CPA. Today, I'm reviewing and walking you through the H&R Block online tax return preparation software. I'm going to do an entire return in H&R Block Online right here on screen. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what I liked about H&R Block Online and what I didn't like about H&R Block Online, just as a CPA, as a tax professional myself. Now, you may know me from my other channel here that I've been doing for a while now. I did this exact video last year. H&R Block review and walkthrough got 44,000 views. I'm hoping that this one for tax season 2022 will get the same or more views, and you can help me with that by liking this video, a little thumbs up down there, and hitting the subscribe and the notification bell. I'm doing the review this year on this new channel called Money Done Right, because my Logan Allec channel is pretty much all about investing, mostly crypto at this point. But enough about that. Let's get right in here to H&R Block. These are the fake tax forms that I made that I'm going to use in preparing the tax return here. So here we are at the H&R Block homepage. Speaking of which, if you use my affiliate link, go to moneyandright.com/hrblock. I have that link in the description below. No extra cost to you, but I'll get a small commission if you use that link when you sign up for H&R Block. Thank you so much for doing that and supporting this brand new Money Done Right channel. Okay, so H&R Block tells you that you're never alone when filing on your own. So that's new. I don't remember this from last year. Before we jump in, let's take a look at all the options, all the pricing options we have down here at H&R Block. We got the free version, of course. That's the one we're going to walk through here because I don't really want to, because I know that that's the most relevant, right, to many of you. And you can see all the things here that you can do for free in H&R Block. So you need a pretty simple return, right? You can, unlike TurboTax, you can take the education credits, American Opportunity Tax Credit, Lifetime Learning Credit, in H&R Block Online Free Edition. I don't think you can with TurboTax. I'm pretty sure you can't. Unemployment, W-2, you can take child tax credit. So yeah, pretty simple returns. I think they have a list. Yeah, here we go. Here, supported forms, right? So here they have a list here of all the things that you could do in the free edition in H&R Block, right? So you can see it's a lot. It covers a lot of scenarios. But if you need to itemize your deductions, for example, you would have to use the Deluxe, right? So itemized deductions, those are, mortgage interest, charitable contributions, stuff like that. And even if you gave to charity, if the amount you gave to charity did not exceed your standard deduction, you take the standard deduction. You won't take itemized deduction. So just because you have some things that would qualify for as an itemized deduction doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have to use the Deluxe edition, because your standard deduction might be more. If you made HSA contributions, child independent care expenses, right? That's basically like daycare costs for your children. If you have rental income, investments, right? Like you sold stocks or something like that, you sold crypto, you're going to have to use the premium. And if you're self-employed, you have a Schedule C, you're going to have to use a self-employed edition here. So think of it like this. This is basically, if you need Schedule A, use Deluxe. If you need Schedule D or Schedule E, use Premium. And if you need to use Schedule C, use Self-Employed. Of course, right, each successive edition, each more expensive edition, gives you everything in the previous editions as well, right? So it's not like you have to buy all these if you have itemized deductions and you have sold stock and you have your own business. No, just the self-employed would cover all those scenarios. One thing I'm wondering here, no, this makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna do the free edition. If you're not sure what you need, just do the free, right? It'll tell you if you need to do get a more expensive edition. One thing I do want to mention is that state returns are extra. And that prices tend to go up throughout tax season, right? So if you need to use a paid edition, better to file early, right? Because they do jack prices up during tax season. And use my affiliate link if you want to support the channel in the description below. All right, let's get going here. File free. Let's do exactly that. All right, so I don't remember the login that I made last year. So I'm just going to create a new account, which I imagine you do if you're new to this. We're going to use maybe taxes. No, just LoganAllec.com. Oh, I don't really want to do a security code. Oh, I guess you don't have to. Wonderful. I'm going to hide it from you guys. Oh, not hiding it. I mean, not that it really matters, because this is like, you know, a fake return anyway. Okay. I mean, this is probably a good idea if you're doing your real tax return in this, but because this is a fake tax return that I just made up. Not really. Don't really need to do that. Okay, so right off the bat, it seems a little bit slower, like marginally slower than TurboTax. Just kind of getting loaded up here. All right, help us personalize your H&R Block experience. If you agree to share your tax return details after you file, we can provide many benefits, such as providing personalized advice, offering products or services. So what I do like about this, so this is that you don't have to do this to file your taxes. This is basically H&R Block asking for your permission to share your data with maybe some of their partners, right? So their partners can sell you stuff. Like, you know, if you have home mortgage interest, maybe you might get some refinancing offers or something like that. I generally don't say yes to this stuff. I get more than enough junk mail, or junk email and spam and stuff like that. So I'm going to, let me make myself even smaller here. I'm going to hit next and not going to do it, but I do like that this is a bit more clear and a little bit more straightforward than I feel TurboTax was. I'm going to say consent to share data, more straightforward than TurboTax. Okay, so next. Okay. Right, so you don't have to do this. So I'm just going to say no thanks. I'm going to say, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to say I use another tax company. Okay, let's start by adding your 2020 tax return. You can, of course, upload your 2020 tax return, and you can see if it'll machine read it to get, you know, information like your name, your address, your spouse's name, stuff like that. You can try that. Even if you do, I would recommend you go through and check to make sure that it read the information correctly. But I'm going to skip that for our purposes here because I want to do everything from scratch for y'all. All right, let's get acquainted. So you're just going to input, obviously, your name and the fake taxpayer that I have here for you. His name is Jimmy Dean. So Jimmy Dean, let's say he was born on then. We're going to say he's single. Of course, you're going to input your actual information here. Last year's I think this is new. You can put, you know, whatever's accurate. I'm going to say I prefer not to answer. No, did not pass away. No, not blind. Social. This I made up entirely. 777-665544. Okay. Contact info. I don't know. Address. I gave him some, you know, random address. 501 Wilcox Avenue. Oh, okay, I read it. I'm going to say I lived in California all year. All right, some simple questions. Are you a U.S. citizen? I'm going to say yes. Are you a student? I'm going to say no. Can someone else claim you as dependent? I'm going to say no. Do you have any dependents? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that I have a daughter who social. She would say she was born on New Year's Day, 2009. Say daughter. All right, so this is important information to know if she qualifies as your dependent, or if your child or whoever else qualifies as dependent. Lived with me for all 2021. I'm going to say yes. U.S. citizen, yes. As an SSN, yes. Going to say not, and then I'm going to say none of this stuff applies. You, of course, would read these and answer appropriately for your situation. Okay, yeah, I think it determined that's a bogus social. So I'm gonna, hopefully it'll take this one. Oh, because it's a 9. Oh my gosh, really? There we go. Did Molly live with his or her other parent, another person for more than 6 months? I'm going to say no. Okay. All right. So, child and dependent, the child credit, child tax credit. Did you pay more than half the cost of maintaining the home you share with your dependents? Yes. Yep. Has a household. That sounds right. Okay, so it's going to review this information, make sure it looks good. Then we're going to input the income. I'm going to start on the W-2. All right, so let's bust out this this W-2 here. There we go. Okay, let me shrink this a little bit. How? Like this. Gosh, I wish this was easier. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to... So this says refund 3,000 already because that's like the child tax credit. But I'm going to change that later because I'm going to say that he got some of that paid out throughout the year through the monthly payments. All right, so I'm going to enter the W-2 info manually. EIN, we got that right here. Employer's name. Let me zoom in. Actually, no, this is the interest form. This is the W-2. Here we go. There we go, folks. All right. Employer's EIN. 9. Employer's name. Big company. Employer's address. 633 West 5th Street. 071. It is cold and rainy here today, folks. Okay, it's pulled over this information. So I think family and I, we're going to go get some pho. It's like the Vietnamese noodle soup. All right, 83867.54. Federal income tax withheld, 7205.80. Where we live, we don't have the best pho, nor the cheapest. 5207.92. But we have a place that's acceptable. If you're in Southern California, the place to go for pho, 1217.98, is Westminster, down Orange County. All right, so nothing in these boxes. Line 12A. Okay, so we're going to do 12A, so just collect, no, 12C is what we're doing. Taxable group term life insurance. D, 401k. So, and this, by the way, is a difference between the Social Security and Medicare wages and the taxable wages. So, you know, the amount you contribute to your 401k, it decreases your taxable wages, right? That's flow your tax return, but it doesn't decrease your Social Security or Medicare wage base. So that's why the difference between this and this is this. Anyway, okay, double D's. That is employer-sponsored healthcare coverage. All right, so anything in box 13? Yes, retirement plan. Box 14, CASDI. There you go. Oh, and it has special instructions for CASDI. Okay, don't enter these contributions in box 19 even if that's where you find the money drivers too. Cool. All right, so I'm going to input those here. Okay, it has a separate input for it. Cool. That amount is $835.81. All right, now here's the state information. Here on line 15, CA, state ID number, state wages, tips, etc. 83867.54, state income tax withheld, 4848.62. And then I think we are done with the W-2 input. It recognizes that's a bogus EIN. Let's see if it takes this. Okay, there you go. Tell us if things apply to W-2. It's corrected, non-standard. Now, obviously, if those apply to you, you would check the appropriate box, but I'm assuming for purposes of this example, It does not. Let me make myself even smaller now. All right, so you've added that to the return. If you had another W-2, you click this button, but we're assuming we don't. What do you do for big companies? I'm going to sausage maker. Nope, I'm going to say not military, not clergy. All right, so did you acquire, sell, send, or trade in crypto? If you did, you'd say yes. I might make a standalone video, actually, on my other channel, my original channel, Logan Allec, on reporting crypto for tax purposes. But just for purposes of this H&R Block walkthrough, I'm going to say no. Foreign account or access, I'm going to say no. Did you earn money in other states besides California in 2021? I'm going to say no. If I say yes, it might trigger a filing requirement in that state. Okay, so here's your income. Right now we got wages, right? What else we got to do? Income profile. Okay, we just did that. So we got to add more income, right? So I also said he made some bank interest income here. So I'm going to say we got 1099 interest. Next. Click start. Okay, so I'm saying the bank's name is Big Bank. Got big banks. Let me scoot these down here. There we go. Big Bank. And I'm going to say that the EIN is, it's probably going to detect this as bogus. We'll see. Interest income, $100. And, usually there's nothing else on these if it's just bank interest income. So I left the rest blank. Next. So that's easy peasy. Okay, I took that 111111111 EIN. All right, so the next thing of income that he has, actually, I'm not going to do this because this is stocks, right? Well, let's see. Okay, can we do dividends while still keeping the free edition? I'm going to say yeah. Okay, I'm going to say the payer's name is Charles Schwab & Co. Inc. Federal EIN is 941737782. Total ordinary dividend $67.95. Qualified dividend is $63.29. If you don't know the difference between the two, check out my How Dividends Are Taxed video on my other channel. And that's basically it. If there's other information here, you'd obviously input that, but I don't have any on this one. This is just like a throwaway account I have at Schwab just for doing these tax return reviews. Okay, let's see if we can do stocks. Yeah, let's see if we can do stocks without it wanting to charge me. I think they charge you at the end, so I should be able to just input them at least. You can say investments, can I be sales, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and other securities. Oh, Schedule D isn't ready yet. So sorry, folks, I can't show you how to do stocks in here. Maybe I'll do a video on my other channel about that. But, alrighty. Next. Okay, so just review this, make sure it looks good. Okay, I think we're done with the tax forms now, so I can make this bigger. All right, let's get started on your deductions. Okay, so we finished the income. Now we're doing the deductions. I'm going to hit next. Estimated taxes, payments of the return or extension of other state and local income taxes. So if you made state tax payments during the year, that's potentially an itemized deduction. So you'd input those here, but I'm going to assume we don't. Oh, but you know what? I don't like this. So, like in TurboTax, you just hit next and it'll ask you the next question about deductions. Here, you have to know to hit add deduction, which might trip some people up. All right, so, just for kicks here, I'm going to say add deduction. I'm going to say charitable donations. You know what? Actually, well, so this is what you would do, right? Like if you donate to charity, you'd say I gave $1,000. Okay, and let's say, I'm gonna say mega church. House of worship. Okay, and then I'm gonna say add deduction. If you had student loan interest. Well, I think his income. I don't know if he qualifies. let's say you had a house, right? And you pay property taxes. Say start. You know, let me say 123 Wilcox Street. You say you paid like, you know, $5,000 in property taxes, right? And then, but see, because his itemized deductions are not over his standard deduction amount, it's still going to tell him to take the standard deduction, right, of $18,800. So, you know, if you itemize your deductions, right, if the sum of your itemized deductions is greater than your standard deduction amount, right, plus a $300 charitable allowance this year, then you take itemized deductions. But if it's lower than that, you just take the standard deduction, right? Because you get more using standard deduction than itemized deduction. So that's what H&R Block's doing there. Okay. All right. So there we go. And that the ability to take up to $300 of charitable contributions, even if you don't itemize deduction, that's only a 2020 and 2021 thing, unless Congress brings it back for 2022. Okay, child tax credit and or additional child tax credit recovery rebate credit. So child tax credit is the credit for, you know, having a child, dependent child, either $3,600 for 2021 or $3,000, depending on the age of the child. That was instituted by the American Rescue Plan Act. We covered this a lot back on my channel. And the recovery rebate credit, which is the credit you get if you didn't get your full third stimulus payment that you were entitled to. Now, so I was going to ask about more credit. Okay, again, here's like another thing. Like, he might qualify for other credits, but he'd have to say like add credit for it, and he'd have to kind of know which credit he qualifies for. You know, like I'm not so unlike TurboTax, which kind of holds your hand a bit more, with H&R Block, you kind of have to know, right, about these credits. So a little less hand holding. Oh no, what did I do? All right, so I got back in. Here we are with credits. So I can click start. Not ready yet. Okay. TurboTax was ready. I did the TurboTax review a few days ago and it had this ready. All right, so let's start recovery rebate credit then. So I'm going to say that he didn't get a full stimulus payment, third stimulus payment. I'm saying he just got a $1,400 one. Let's say the IRS forgot about his daughter. Okay, so that makes sense, right? He already received a $1,400 stimulus for himself, but then he's getting an additional credit for $1,400 because he didn't get that third stimulus when he should have. Man, this is a shame that this one doesn't work yet. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to keep moving right along. Okay. See, isn't this a little bit confusing? Like, the sum of these don't sum to $4,400. Only these two do. And that's correct, right? This is the increased child tax credit in 2021 from the American Rescue Plan Act and the recovery rebate credit. So I don't even know why they have this here. This is like the old child tax credit amount. If his income was higher, he might have been phased out of the additional $1,000 here and only been eligible for a $2,000. But it's really confusing to kind of see this thing that says total here when it doesn't even add up to that. So that's a little annoying. All right, click next. All right, taxes, payments, penalties. I'm going to say everyone was covered all year. I'm going to say that health insurance through an employer. All right. All right, so nothing really to do there. The Obamacare credit's gone now. The Obamacare penalty's gone now for not having health insurance. Here are all taxes, payments, and penalties. Okay. Right, so federal withholding was just from the W-2. Right, you said right there 7205.8, which is rounded to 7206. And the recovery rebate credit was for the third stimulus he didn't get. All right, so, okay, here's some more stuff. Wrap up. I don't think he needs to pay estimated tax payments. It sounds like he gets it all taken out through his withholding just fine. He's getting a large refund. Could probably afford to take less out. Let's not apply any refund to 2022. Change language preference. I'm going to assume that none of these apply. Okay, so now it looks like you're just going to review the thing. Do they let you look at like the PDFs? Okay, so a few things are not available yet in H&R Block, and that's fine. Well, it's not available, so we can't do anything. So it's kind of weird. It's not fixable yet until H&R Block gets it. So, okay, so I want to know if I can like view the actual return, like a PDF copy of it. I don't think you can. It's kind of lame. If I recall, in doing some of these last year, like Credit Karma Tax, which is now Cash App Tax, like you could actually view the PDF, but I guess not here. Okay, and here's an upsell. So upgrade to Plus. So what do you get with this? So you get a free state return. Well, hold on now. His return's free anyway. So I feel this is kind of deceiving here. Because he's not getting this value. Okay, it does say if you later upgrade to a paid product, additional fees will apply for state returns. Okay, but he doesn't even have a paid product yet anyway. So I feel like kind of framing this as like, oh, well, you're getting your state return for free. He's getting a state return for free anyway because he has such a simple tax return. So it's a little, not sure how I feel about that. Okay, keep all your tax docs safe in our secure digital storage. He can keep his tax docs safe himself. Access all your tax documents on your time. Can he access his tax documents himself? Tech support, chat or phone, live unlimited tech support. Like, shouldn't they give you tech support anyway? I guess the live aspect here. I mean, I don't think he needs this. I think this is just another upsell that these tax softwares love to do. So, okay. So how do I get out of here? I guess you just hit continue with free. That's okay. Just don't lose your docs. Oh, I won't. All right. Okay, so California's running yet. That doesn't really matter for this review video because probably most of you don't even live in California. You can get an email from them when the California return is available if you want to. If you don't want an email from them, click don't send me this email. Okay, so I think that's as far as I'm going to take it. Let's see. Well, let's just see what it does here. Okay, so this is kind of a similar thing as we saw previously. Okay. All right. Okay, well, maybe now. Okay, so now this is kind of the last processing bit here. Obviously, you wouldn't file your return until it has all the forms, and you could fix those issues, and then you can e-file your return. But I'm basically going to call the review here, or call the walkthrough here, because I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover here. All right, now let's talk H&R Block Online pros and cons. First pro, the free edition is good. It covers a lot of situations, at least compared to TurboTax, but not as many as some of the free tax filing softwares, like, for example, Credit Karma Tax or Cash App Tax now, that I will review probably this week or next. I noticed at the beginning when I was firing up H&R Block, it was kind of marginally slower, kind of just in that initial initialization phase. So maybe H&R Block doesn't have as robust servers as TurboTax does. I'm not sure. It did seem a little bit slower. I did like that actually, no, that's that's something I don't like. Another thing I like is that the consent to share your data with H&R Block and its potential affiliates, it's more straightforward than TurboTax's is. I also like that H&R Block gives you little things, like little kind of special instructions about like the California SDI. It kind of just, expanded on that. Like, hey, even if that amounts in box 19 or W2, put it in box 14 here in H&R Block. And I feel that there are a few more things like that in H&R Block that maybe TurboTax didn't offer. All right, so what do I did not like so much about H&R Block? Well, one was it was marginally slower than TurboTax when firing up. I said that before. Another thing I didn't like is that you have to hit add deductions to like add deductions, or add credit to add credits. If you just hit the next button, it's just going to say, oh, you're done with your deductions, you're done with your credits, let's move on. When really the person might have had more deductions or credits, but because they hit next, they thought they were done when they should have hit like add deductions or add credits. In TurboTax, they kind of hold your hand a bit more. You can just go from one screen to the next, and TurboTax will ask you questions that pretty much covers all your bases. H&R Block, I think you have to have kind of a bit more kind of base, maybe tax knowledge here to really make sure your return is done accurately. Like you would have to know, like, oh no, I need to add another credit or another deduction. Well, TurboTax would kind of hold your hand a bit more, which is obviously better for beginners. H&R Block also might seem a little more delayed than TurboTax in getting forms ready. Like, for example, the child tax credit form was not ready in H&R Block, but it was ready when I did my TurboTax review a few days ago. The Californian was not ready in H&R Block at all, but I was able to at least do a little bit in the state return in TurboTax when I reviewed that one. So maybe H&R Block might be a little more delayed than TurboTax. I don't like how you can't view a PDF copy of the return. I assume you can't do that until you pay. I don't think you can do that in TurboTax either. And then finally the upsell, right? There's that kind of that upsell in the middle. I do like with H&R Block there was only one upsell rather than TurboTax, which I think gives like 2 or 3 upsells to pay. But I mean, the nature of the upsell is not really something this guy needs, right? He's got a very simple return. He can store his tax documents himself. I mean, he's a grown-up. I'm sure he can store documents securely himself. He doesn't need to pay H&R Block. What was it, like $29, $30, to store his docs for him. And I also didn't like how kind of when it gave the price of the upsell, it was kind of like, oh, but you'll get your state return free too, when he's getting a state return free anyway because he has such a simple tax return. So I get that's probably a default screen that it shows everybody at that point, but I kind of wish it would be a little more tailor-made so there's no confusion there. All right, folks, so that is my H&R Block review. If you want to watch my TurboTax review, it should be popping up here on the screen. There are, as I do more of these tax software reviews, they will populate on the screen as well. If I haven't done them yet, you're just going to see other tax videos that I made. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. Happy tax season. Bye-bye.